Hello everybody, my name is Javier Gomez, and today I'll be making a video inspired by one of my all-time favorite YouTubers, Binging with Babish. Today I will be making a Beef Wellington, which to start with, we will be finely chopping 10 mushrooms very finely, and if you have a food processor, then this step will be much easier and less time consuming. And if you have frozen puff pastry like I did the same day that you're making the Beef Wellington, make sure to defrost it in the fridge overnight like I did. It's now the next day, as you can see with my different clothes, so I'm going to start chopping up some garlic, a shallot, and some thyme leaves that'll go extremely well in our mushroom duxelle. Once you got that all finely chopped, it's time to put 2 tiny pieces of butter on a pan and wait for it until it is fully melted. Then add the mushrooms over it and begin to saute the mushrooms and expel the moisture the mushrooms have. Then once a lot of the moisture is evaporated, you're going to want to add your garlic, your shallots, and your thyme and mix it all up until it's all incorporated. Then you're going to want to add a little bit of cognac and some heavy cream. You could opt in for some heavy whipped cream instead if you like. Once it's all cooked, you're going to want to get started on your beef tenderloin. This big boy was very expensive and a little too big, so I cut it in half by pulling out the butcher's twine and cutting it right in the middle. Then you're going to want to sear it on all sides for a couple minutes. You don't want to cook it too long though, because you don't want it getting overcooked in the oven. Once that's done, get some food wrap and place some prosciutto on top to wrap the tenderloin inside. But before you actually wrap the tenderloin inside, put your duxelle on top of it and smear it over the prosciutto while finally adding your tenderloin at the very top. Roll it up with the plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for 20 minutes or so, and once it's firmed up, it's time to get that puff pastry. Side note, do not get this kind of puff pastry. It broke easily and it was not easy to work with whatsoever, so get Pillsbury instead, as they are a lot more sturdier and a lot better to work with. Once you have your puff pastry out, unwrap the plastic wrap that's on the wrapped up tenderloin. That was a really hard sentence to say. Once it's nice and rolled up, place it in the fridge for another 20 minutes and then preheat your oven in the meantime to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Once 20 minutes have passed, place your beef Wellington on a baking sheet and brush it down with an egg yolk. I forgot to do this step, sadly, but you want to add some salt on the top for texture and taste, and then leave it in the oven for a little over 20 minutes depending on your oven, and also for how well you want your meat to be cooked. Once it has a golden brown exterior, let it rest for a while once you take it out of the oven, and then just admire how great it looks. Then open up to see the goodness inside. Seeing this work both blew my mind and also made me very hungry, so we had to cut it open, share some slices, and we dug in. And I have to say, it was the greatest thing I have made up until this point. The beef was tender, the duxelle was amazing, and the prosciutto was on point. Though the puff pastry was left to be desired, it was still a great tasting dish that I'd love to make again and improve on in the future.